Hello, good evening. It's Jules Wyman here from juleswyman.com, and Facebook have blooming changed everything. So I've just gone on to do my Facebook Live on my laptop, and Facebook have changed the layout, where to find everything, and for some reason it won't connect to my laptop camera. So I am desperately trying to prop. They got to see more of my dining room. I'm desperately trying to prop my phone up so that I can do this from my phone instead. Good job that I've got more than one device to be able to do it from. So I am not sure. Whereas normally I would check this on my phone the other way around, I am just checking. They've changed so many things. I'm just checking. Yep, there we go. That it's live on my computer. So, good evening. Welcome to the craziness. I didn't even get to properly type a description. I'm so thrown by this. And now I've got myself in double view. I don't want that. That's not going to be good. Let's get rid of myself there and make sure that's on mute. Right, so I do apologise for those who are watching this live and on the recording that are getting an opening sequence of wobbly camera. That is not great and not good for anybody. So hopefully that is going to stay propped. Let me just give it a bit more of an angle so that it doesn't go too weird. You don't want to see how I'm propping it up, but it's working at the moment anyway. So I apologise if I look in the wrong direction as well, because I'm used to looking up there. So looking down there, it's a bit of a weird angle. I'm looking down. I do apologise. But hey, the thing is I actually went, I don't know why I went high pitched there, but I actually went on to Facebook earlier today for some reason, whether they'd changed everything, because I don't know why. I had a sneaking suspicion that they might have done, and they had, but at that point it all looked the same. And then I go on this evening and it's all changed. But anyway, I'm here, you're here. Thank you for joining me live, and for those of you who are watching on the hashtag replay as well, do drop down and say hi, and let me know that you can hear me as well. So give me some thumbs up, or give me some hearts, or give me some teary or wow faces, or whatever you fancy, or do drop down and say hi, because it would be great to be able to give you a shout out and say hi and welcome. As I've said before, it's like I feel like I'm having a little bit of a school night party on a Monday night and inviting you into my house, and just like a party, I'd like to be able to say hi, welcome, come on in. So it's always nice when people do drop down and say hi. That being said, about for those of you who just joined, and if you're wondering why I've got an extremely strange camera angle, Facebook have changed. I'm just going to test that this is all working fine from this side. Facebook have changed how to do the Facebook Live from my laptop, and I didn't have time to go through all of their new weird trying to do everything. So hence why I'm on here, hence why it's wobbly, and I'd be really appreciative if you could let me know that you can hear me okay, that you can see me okay, other than the crazy camera angle. Just drop down and say hi, it'd be fantastic. So for those of you joining live, if you've never joined before, hey Comfort, how lovely to have you here live. And Jane as well, sorry I missed you today, Jane, but it's lovely to have you here. And it looks like on here, let me just test something. Oh no, it does allow me to do it. Because usually, oh no, it's not allowing me to like you or like your comment. No, I apologise. Oh no, it is now. It's a bit slow. And Caroline as well. Good evening, my lovely. It's lovely to have you here. So this evening, how this works, for those of you who, this is your first one, thank you, Bev. It's lovely to see you as well, my lovely. It's much harder to do it on here than it is on the computer, but hey-ho. I'd rather be seeing your comments coming up. It's great to have you all here. So please don't wait. If you're watching this live, or if you are watching this on the recording, please don't wait to be invited to type in. Just type in at any point. If you have got comments that you want to share, if you have got questions about the question or the topic that we're talking about, if you completely disagree with what I'm saying, absolutely great. Let's have a conversation. That's the whole point. And it's not about, this isn't about me trying to convince you to see it from my perspective. I'm always open to different perspectives and would love to know your thoughts on what I'm going to share this evening. So feel free, don't wait to be invited. Feel free to chip in at any time. Hey, Alison. Oh, that's really lovely to know, Alison. Thank you very much. And it's very interesting that you should say that, actually, because if you really would like me to keep doing these videos, I would really love to know what you get from them, because obviously it's my Monday evening and I do these for free. And I do them because I want to give back to people that I want to give back. Because when I started out, I didn't have any money. People were offering free stuff then. And I really wanted to make sure that there was a way of me being able to return that in some way, shape or form. And this is the freest, easiest way to be able to do it. I don't even ask for your email address. I don't even bombard you with other stuff that I've got going on. Or try to sell at you by grabbing your email address. But obviously, if you want to know more, then do go onto my website and sign up for the newsletter. But the whole point of this is to be able to share some information, plant some seeds, and keep this going. However, the challenge that I have is that at the moment, the topics are less frequent, or the topic requests rather are less frequent from you guys that are watching, and so therefore I'm running out of topics. And for some reason today I was thinking about it, because it's over 3.5 years since I've been doing these. Good evening, Kerry. I hope you're well. It's been a very long time since I've seen you. The whole purpose is about creating this content for you. So what do you want to know more of? What do you want to hear about? As you'll see as I go through this question this evening, I'm not going to name the person that's sent this question in, so it's not about outing people, but it is about creating content that's of value for you so that you can access it and help it and share this with other people around the globe. How awesome is that? Free video, just click share and send it to someone, private message, or your own page, in your own private groups, whatever it may be, you can share this with people. So if you've got topics that you want me to specifically talk about, then please do let me know. You can DM me on here, direct message me on here if you don't know what DM means. It's exactly the same if you're watching it on replay. You can put a comment in. You can send me an email, jules@juleswyman.com. You can send me a postcard if you really want to. The address for the office is on my website. But this is about you, and I don't want to keep creating topics that I think, I'm kind of guessing, do they want? I'm not sure. So let me know, what challenges have you got, or what do you want to know more about? And I will do my best to create something for you. If not, then I will, the videos will probably end, in all honesty. Excuse me. So if you really want, that's garlic. I'm keeping away the vampires this evening. That if you really want these to continue, because as Alison said, that these videos have really helped her over the years, that's absolutely awesome, then do let me know. What is it that you would specifically like to know more about? And have you got specific questions or topics? And then I can do that for you. And that's what's happened with this particular topic. This is going to be weird, by the way. You don't usually see me doing this because I'm on my laptop usually, and the comments come up at the side. But I can't see if I have to keep scrolling with the way that they've popped up on here. So if you're watching this on the replay, then please do type your questions and comments as if you're watching it live. The moment I get notification and I'm able to, I do come back on and comment and interact. So please do join in as if you are watching this live. And for those of you that are watching this live, then join in throughout and chip in with this evening's topic. And it was actually a question that somebody asked via direct message on here. And you will know who you are. And there were lots of lots of information around this question, but this is the question that stuck out. And I did check back in with them: is this the question that you want an answer to, or want a conversation to start around? And they said yes. So their question was, why don't I feel I'm not good enough? I've just realised I might have put, why do I feel I'm good enough? It's, why do I feel I'm not good enough? And this is something that comes up. It actually came up in a coaching conversation today. I don't think a week goes by where this topic doesn't come up in some way, shape or form. So the first thing for you to know, if you are somebody that experiences that perception of I'm not good enough, and it may not be it may not be good, it may be I'm not intelligent enough, smart enough, young enough, old enough, clever enough, whatever it is of that enoughness that's put in there. In fact, let's do a quick survey. You don't need to say what it is, but if you have any kind of inner dialogue that says I'm not blank enough, whatever, put your own, just give me a thumbs up or put yes in the comments, or if you want to be really quick, just put a Y in the comments, and let's just see how many people that affects. Because if I was in a workshop room, I'd get people to raise their hands, and one of the main reasons I get people to do that is because it's important, I think, for you to see that it's not just you. It's not you on your own. You're not isolated to that kind of thinking. This is a common human condition. I know it for myself. There's some thumbs up coming in. I can't see who they're from, but thank you. So that shows that this is something. There's lots of them flowing in now. So this gives you the opportunity to see that this is not just you, and the fact that there is so much information out there about it. I have tons of one-to-one conversations with clients about this topic. So therefore, there's yeses, there's thumbs up, there's brilliant, well done, thank you, Kerry. So this is, and comfort, thank you. So this is something that's important. So what I would like to go through with you this evening is I've got 5 things basically. It's a huge topic, and I don't know specifically, like with all these topics, I don't know specifically where you are at with something. But what I do know is that you, I can give you some headlines, I can give you some thoughts on it to be able to start percolating, like with everything. So there's 5 key things that I'm going to go through with you this evening around this. So the first thing to think about when you've got that dialogue that's saying something along the lines of I'm not, whatever it is, enough, then for that to exist, there has to be a level of comparison going on. There has to be some kind of inner comparison thinking happening for you to be experiencing it in that way. So therefore, the first thing is to become aware of that comparison, because very often we do compare down as well. Most people think they only compare upwards, and what I mean by that is they only compare themselves to somebody that's up here, and therefore then make themselves less than. But because that can become quite uncomfortable for us, we do actually compare downwards as well. So that's where we might make a snipey comment about somebody, or it may be that we just think, well, at least there, but for the grace of God go I. That's actually a comparison in the other direction. It's a judgment about the other person. We think it's a compassionate statement. I personally don't think it's a compassionate statement, because to me it's a little bit like, thank God I'm not there. God chose me to be here and not there. And my life could be worse and I could be there, and you're absolutely right. But that is belittling that person's experience and their own journey. But most of the time, when we think we're not enough in whatever capacity that's showing up, it's because we're comparing in the other direction. So that upwards comparison is I'm not as smart as them, or I'm not as pretty as them, or as thin as them, or as young as them, or as old as them, or as business-like as them, or intelligent as them, or whatever it may be, is we're comparing upwards. So your first thing to really start thinking about is that comparison, and maybe asking yourself something along the lines of, and how does that help me? How does that help me to compare in that way? Because in my experience, it doesn't it doesn't seem to help in any way, shape or form. Sorry, I think that's moved. It doesn't seem to help in any way, shape or form. And so therefore start to challenge that, but kindly. It's not about beating yourself up about it, but it is about asking yourself, well, how does that thought help me? Really, truly, how does that thought help me right now? Because my assumption is it doesn't. It really doesn't help me in any way, shape or form. So why on earth would I be thinking in that way? Why would I be engaging in that thought? But in order for you to be able to challenge that, you've got to hear it in the first instance. So be mindful of whenever the I'm not good enough statement is either being said out loud or in your head, start to look for who or what am I comparing myself to, and is that comparison actually helping or hindering me? And quite often the statement is, I don't feel that I'm good enough. It's very rare that somebody will say, I think I'm not good enough. It's usually based around their feeling, but you're feeling it because you're thinking it. So if you're feeling that you're not good enough, it's because you're thinking you're not good enough. So use that first thing again of, well, how do I know? You know, one of my other favourite questions to ask and to think about is, well, what's enough? So that in conversation with somebody today, with my client today, it was around the world of academia, and there was, will I ever know enough? It's interesting whenever I talk to people, regardless of what industry they're in or what field they're coming from. But when they say especially when people are looking to do public speaking and presentations and that kind of thing. By the way, let me know if this is making sense. Give me some thumbs up if this is making sense for you. And when somebody's thinking about public speaking, I will playfully talk about being an expert and ask them how they're an expert in their field. And I think I can honestly say everyone I've spoken to and coached with regards that kind of recoils. Well, no, I'm not an expert because I don't know enough to be the expert. And it's like, well, what does enough mean? What will be enough? Have I read every single book and every single bit of research around confidence, the imposter syndrome, presentation trainings, and all the other things that I work and deliver on? No. But have I got expertise to the level of where I'm at this moment in time? Absolutely. Can I learn more? Absolutely. So very often when we are thinking in that way of not enough, it's like, well, okay, well, what is enough? What do I mean by that? What is that actually saying? And why am I buying into that thinking that is making me less than? That thinking that is putting me on a back foot, that's non-supportive, that's not inspiring, that's demotivating. Why engage with that thinking? That's like having a really abusive partner next to you, or even a friend next to you, that's just saying, well, you're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing that. And believe you me, I've been in a relationship like that, and it's not fun. And I know that there are many people who are in that kind of relationship. That's really not healthy in any way, shape or form. And yet most of us can see that when it's an external person, and we can see that that's not right and it's not healthy, but we forget about that internal, oh, well, you're not good enough kind of voice. And actually that's just as abusive. So if you wouldn't put up with this outside, then don't put up with it internally either. Don't let that thinking create your experience of how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. Bear with me 1 second as I try to try to read my writing very quickly, as I didn't get the time to go through my notes whilst trying to work out Facebook. So the question was actually posed as why don't I feel I'm good enough? And my answer would be, and I would be really curious to have a much longer conversation and a one-to-one conversation. By the way, still let me know if this is making sense. And if you have any questions, whether you're on the replay or live, do bob your questions or your thoughts down on that as well. I managed to break my favourite mug the other day. Snapped the handle clean off. I'm pretty sure I couldn't have done that so beautifully and cleanly if I'd have tried. So the question was, why don't I feel I'm not good enough? There's some thumbs coming up then, so it's obviously making sense and resonating with people. Thank you very much. So I can't see who they are, by the way, because of being on my phone, so I can't actually see whose gorgeous photos are coming up. So to me, as I say, I'd love to have more of a deeper conversation with the person around this, but I am going to make some assumptions as to why do I feel I'm not good enough. My assumptions are that actually this perception, this belief was created when you were very young, and it will have been created due to misunderstandings of the outside world. So I've just spent a weekend with my wonderful goddaughter and her brother, who are 4 and 6. And it's fascinating to watch. Those little beings, and if you've got little beings around you, you'll see this. They're desperately trying to understand the world. They're desperately trying to put it together, and how does this fit with that? And as a family, they've just had something significant happen, and it's the first time that's happened for these little beings. And it's a bit like, okay, well, how does that work then? And why is that person doing this? And it's this trying to piece those things together. And if you think about it, they're doing the best they can at 4 and 6, but ultimately they're ill-informed, uneducated, and have a very limited perception. That's not just them, that's any child. And we were those children, and we, for whatever reason and for whatever happened around us, and this isn't about blaming our environment, it's about understanding that we didn't know how to translate that world and have a helpful perception of that world, and therefore we did the very best that we could, which was make something up. And what we made up was a misunderstanding about us, which was, I'm not good enough. So, for example, let's just say that one of my parents told me off and then said, oh, don't do that, you're a bad girl, or bad girl just for doing that, whatever it may be. Many parents say that. That's a common phrase. But I could have gone, oh, well, that's me. I am not good enough. I would have taken that on as an identity. Right, okay, tick, I know who I am the not good enough one. And then embodied that basically throughout the rest of my life, unless I challenge it. So if this is something that's very deep, I do think this is something that is very deep. And it's something that I personally am still looking into for myself, but also for an understanding as a coach, so I can help people even more with it. And my understanding, what I'm starting to get a glimpse of through the teachers that I have around me, is that part of the I'm not good enough is the thinking mind's modus operandi anyway. So we're all dealing with it in different ways, which then leads to different behaviours and cover-ups. But to help ourselves, the way that we can help ourselves even more is to just cut to the chase and go, okay, right, let me challenge that. Is it true? What's my perception? What am I? Those things that I was talking about before. How am I thinking? What's the evidence that I have? How am I comparing? What am I comparing to? What do I mean by enough? What is enough? Going back to the example of the presentation, I'm not an expert, I don't have enough knowledge. Well, do you have enough? It's amazing, actually. So many people who say they don't have enough knowledge to do the presentation. I'm like, okay, well, how long's the presentation? 20 minutes. Like, what do you think your audience is expecting you to deliver in 20 minutes? I'm just preparing with a colleague a one-day training that I will be letting you guys know about at the end of April, 25th of April. Put a little waggy finger, I do apologise. For those of you in the UK, put the 25th of April in your diary, and I will let you know more about it when the tickets go on sale, which will hopefully be this week, the early bird offer as well. But we're just putting together information. It's all around stress and anxiety and worrying and overthinking and all that sort of thing. We've got a day. Do you think that we can tackle absolutely everything on that topic? Do you think that we have to know all of the research around stress, all of the information that there is could possibly have around anxiety or worrying or overthinking? No. We can only do what we can deliver in that day. And that's what I find fascinating when people say, oh, I've got to have all the answers. It's like, no, you haven't. You're giving information for that 20 minutes, for example. What is enough? What is your expectation of enough? Challenge it. Don't just accept it of, oh, well, I just don't think I'm good enough for fill in the blank. I just don't believe that. I'm not good enough to run a marathon at under 4 hours. I don't think I could run a marathon full stop at the moment. Thank you for doing the emojis popping up there. I couldn't see. But ultimately, if that's something I wanted to do, I could start building up. I could start doing some things toward that to make that happen. So, don't think that it's just around enough is having everything. There isn't a person on this planet that has everything. There just isn't. Even the greatest and wisest thinkers are still learning. That they still perceive themselves as students and are still learning. And that's the key to it all. Is in that sense, you will never have enough because there's always something, or be enough, because there's always something else to learn. But I'm going to get sidetracked because I've just heard myself say something and I don't want to get sidetracked because I've still got 2 more to do and I'm running out of time as ever because I get excited and want to share loads of information. Let me know if this is making sense. If you've got any questions, please do pop those below. And if you've got any comments or anything at all, please pop those below. Don't wait for me to ask, just interrupt. I'm obviously going to overrun this evening. Should have realised this was going to be a longer video. But anyway, let me know, put them in there and I shall move on. So the steps, now hopefully you've got a clearer picture of where it all comes from and why this person was saying, why do I feel like I'm not good enough? So just to help you change it, I've already started talking about this a little bit, but to give you a different direction and a way of moving away from this is to challenge it. Start to question, like I've said, well, what do I mean by that? What is it that I'm looking for with enough? Is that realistic? Thank you for the thumbs up. Is it true? What am I using as my evidence? And is that true? Is it factual? Is there any evidence to the contrary? Especially I love using the presentation ones because I think that so many people don't think that they're good enough to do a presentation and they're scared of it. And quite often people think that they have to have all of the answers. And it's like, okay, well, have you ever watched a speaker be asked a question that they don't know the answer to? And most people are like, yeah. And we know the ones who blag it and make it up. We can see it. We can smell it a mile off. We've had years of watching politicians to know where they're being evasive. But you can also tell those who will just say, I really don't know the answer to that. I'll need to think about it, or let me come back to you on it. And we don't think anything less of them. They should have known that one. Well, if you've got the answer and you're asking the question, what are you trying to do? What's your agenda? What's going on? But ultimately, the majority of people don't think in that way. The majority of people want that person to do really well and don't mind when that person doesn't have all of the answers because it could probably be a huge topic like this one, for example. So start to challenge that thinking whenever you hear that I'm not enough, however that's phrasing up, is challenge it. Look for the evidence. Is it true? Look for evidence to the contrary so that you can really push back with it rather than just accept it. Oh, well, I'm not good enough and that's why, because that's just not going to be helpful. And something to really start to think about, the last thing to really start thinking about is to focus on progress over perfection. So in that, the enoughness, I think, is very closely linked with this desire or need to be perfect or get it perfect or be perceived as perfect. And I think that's where a lot of enoughness gets wrapped around and hooked in, and it's just not helpful. So rather than think about, oh, well, I should be all the way over there and I'm not, I'm here, and therefore I'm not enough because I'm not there, is look at where you are and go, okay, well, look at how far I've come. Look at all the different things that I've done to get to where I am today. So I know, for example, that I could, if I wanted to be abusive and engage with that internal abusive thinking, I could say I am not good enough as a businesswoman because my business isn't all the way over there by now. You know, I haven't got a 7-figure business. Sorry to let you down, but I haven't got a 7-figure business. But what I can do is I can look at where I am right now and go, okay, well, let me look at how far I've come. Let me look at where I started from, which was being quite significantly in debt, to where I am now. Let me look at the fact that I didn't know anything about business and I've come to this point here. If I look at, I'd never done a video in my life. I didn't have the confidence to go on camera. I didn't know any of this information, and look at where I am now. Yes, there's still stuff I want to do. Yes, there's still a direction I want to go in. But by focusing on the progress rather than that perfection, it's going to give me a different thinking process and a different attention. So rather than that I should be there, but I'm here, it's like I'm here and look how far I've come. I've already achieved that, and celebrating and acknowledging that. Does that make sense? I can breathe again. I know I've gone through that very fast, but let me know if that makes sense. Comfort says, not feeling good enough keeps me stuck and safe. How do I make baby steps? Great question, Comfort. So hopefully that last bit will give you an indication. I would personally would want to dive a lot deeper around what you perceive as safe, especially as you've put it in bunny ears or speech marks. Is what does that actually mean? What are you talking about there? And I'd love to know also a bit more about what is stuck, because I think stuck is a perception. I don't think that stuck is, I want to say, real. I get the sensation of it may feel real, and even that's not the right words, but what I mean is we may see what's coming up for me is that stuck is, well, I'm not there, I'm not over there, and I should be, rather than, and I'm stuck here, I'm not moving. So I'm thinking that part of the baby step that you could do, Comfort, is really get an understanding of the progress you've made to get you where you are today. Does that make sense? But if there's more that you would like me to say, then please direct message me. As I said at the beginning, I can come up with topics, but those topics are going to be based on where I'm at and what I think that you need. I would love to know what it is that you actually need. So direct message me. I don't have to mention your name. I haven't mentioned this person's name. I know that you'll know who you are. But Comfort, message me, and we can either, well, if you'd like to one-to-one session, then obviously we can do that. But if not, then we can create a question that I can do a video about. So let me know. Nina says, I'm definitely a perfectionist, which makes me think I'm not good enough. Perfectionism is such a confidence killer. It's unreal. It's unhelpful. And you know, one of my quotes, which I put up the other day, which I think you might have commented on actually, Nina, was what happens if you make your standards actually achievable? And there was a wonderful interaction on this page around that, and around how it challenged people to think about, did that question mean lowering your standards, or can you still have high standards, and make them achievable? So, you know, my standard, for example, wasn't to get these videos right. My standard, actually, the standard I set myself was to do a video on a Monday night at 7 o'clock, only for half an hour, but it's 35 minutes now, and do those for a year and see how they go, see if people are interested. And in May this year, it'll be 4 years, believe it or not, that I've been doing these. So that was my standard. Now, have I managed to do one every single Monday? No, because life has happened. But I don't beat myself up about it. My standard is to do it and keep it there, but making it achievable. If I'd have said, right, I'm going to do a video every single day of the week, then that's not going to be right. If I was, I'm going to video, I'm going to edit it, I'm going to do this. I know that I haven't got the time to be able to do that. So I'm making my standard high. I do it on shot so you can actually see what I'm doing, but I make it so that I can achieve it. What happens with perfectionism is we put the bar up there, and then as we're heading toward it, we tend to do this, which is why then we're never going to feel good enough, because you're never going to reach that particular goal. I can keep going on this one because you can actually see my hands. So you're constantly chasing something then, which is just not helpful. And a lot of people think that if they're going to bring that standard down so that they can reach it, that they won't be motivated to do it again. But in actual fact, it's far more, this is demotivating for the majority of people, whereas doing that is motivating. So make it so that you can reach your standards, Nina, and that will then help ease that I'm not good enough. Because I 100% know that you are good enough to do the job that you do. I think that you are amazing doing what you do. So, yeah, I will big you up till the cows come home because I think you're phenomenal. Comfort says, thank you. Love that. Thank you. More exploring of language and meaning. Can you message me, Comfort, and be really specific with what you mean by that? Yes, I can make some assumptions even. But I'd love to know more of what you mean by that. So, I think I'm going to need to go and have a lie down now. Was that good enough for you? Am I good enough to be doing these videos? Maybe my videos aren't good enough. Maybe I need to be doing more videos so that I can make them good enough with different filters on them and whizzies and bangs and all of that. And then I'd be good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough as a coach because I haven't got a 7-figure business. Maybe I'm not good enough as a businesswoman because I can't be earning money if I'm not working. I'm pretty sure that if I sat here doing all of that, that most of you would start chipping in with thoughts to the contrary, right? So why not start doing that to yourself? Why not start giving yourself that level of support, the same kind of support that you would give someone else when you would hear them, especially somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, that if you were giving them that same kind of loving advice of being kind, compassionate, thoughtful, caring, understanding, and just taking that time and doing that for yourself, because I can pretty much guarantee that the I'm not good enough is a load of BS. It's a belief system that's effing you over left, right and centre, that's not helpful, that's not going to get you where you really want to go. It's not going to be giving you the opportunity to be feeling good. And my assumption is that you want to feel good. Would I be correct in that? Is feeling good what you want? My guess is it is. So stop giving yourself a hard time. Think about the 5 things I've spoken about this evening. I'm not going to run through them because otherwise I'll be here for another 5 minutes. And hopefully that's given you some things to start putting into practice so that you can challenge that thought or the thinking around I'm not good enough. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. If you have made it all the way to the end, right the way from the beginning, those of you who were here at the start, then, oh my gosh, go make yourself a nice cup of tea or something. Thank you for being here. Please do direct message me with any questions that you have that you would like me to do videos of. Otherwise, I'm running out of my own stuff, and that's not great and helpful for you. And if you want to know more on something particular or something specific, then please do let me know. Thank you, Comfort. I appreciate that. I love the interaction this evening. It does make it so much easier and more helpful from my perspective, and I think from others' perspective as well, I'm guessing, when there is this level of conversation, because it takes the conversation where you want it to go rather than me being in charge of it. So I welcome even more of that. And I look forward to, what's the date next week? I believe I am here, so I'm not going. I think it's just the last Monday of March that I'm not going to be here, so I will let you know in advance. But for those of you who've joined this evening and watched on the recording, thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you again next week. And in the meantime, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind, and more specifically, be kind to you. Thank you. Take care.